For my community improvement plan, I decided to implement a mental health awareness week in my hometown high school. So, to start off with some background, Midland Park Junior Senior High School has around 400 students, and for those 400 students, there was only one specialized student guidance counselor, and that is to deal with all of the mental health issues that students go through, like including like the loss of a parent or anxiety, depression, or anything going on at school. So, in addition to that, the school only offers a bunch of web links and hotlines through their website, such as the ones listed, and those are the only mental health resources that are offered. So, some facts to go along with that. Almost half of the individuals with mental illness start to notice symptoms around 14 years old, which something to keep in mind is that 14 years old is usually the freshman year of high school, and teens spend about 1/3 of their waking hours physically in high school over a 4-year span. So, high school for teenagers is really their main environment, and that is why mental health hotline numbers and web links are not enough for students and parents to receive the mental health support that they need, because without it, they'll have to rely on their own research, which usually is not adequate. So, therefore, the implementation of a community improvement plan will provide mental health resources and education directly through Midland Park High School to target and assist faculty and the student body. So, for my plan and the Mental Health Awareness Week, I wanted to start out the week with a delayed opening for each school day and have classes start at 10 a.m. so students can get a little extra hour or so of sleep, because teens who do not receive the recommended 8 hours of sleep each night are more likely to experience symptoms of depression and to be unfocused in school and have a harder time. So I would like to instate a delayed opening in order to combat that throughout the week. On the first day of the week, there will be an introductory presentation just to introduce mental health topics in case students aren't aware of certain mental health disorders. And this would also be to just introduce the impact that mental health can have on students' lives in and out of school. On the second day, I want to show the movie Angst, which is a documentary outlining anxiety in students, and it has different anecdotes from students, teachers, and even Olympian Michael Phelps. So it really is to remind students that mental health disorders are common, and they can see that watching their peers and people they look up to, and this is all to normalize asking for help. And I can play a trailer of the movie.
My hands start to shake. I feel like I can't breathe. I kind of start to breathe really rapidly and I can't slow my breathing. So then my body starts to think that there's no oxygen and that I'm dying. My vision gets pretty blurry and I can't think. I don't know what the brain does to cause that, but it's nasty.
Okay. So on the next week or day, I wanted to implement a technology-free day for both students and faculty members, and kind of give everyone a day to be off their phones and off the computer screen without social media, because almost 70% of American teens use social media at least 3 times a day. And there was a study that was recently done within the past year that proved the negative correlation between social media and mental distress. And then on the next day, there will be a peer presentation. So again, the students will be able to see a panel of their peers that were selected because of their own experiences that they went through with mental health struggles. And the Menlo Park High School mascot is the Panther, so it'll be called the Panther Panel of selected students, and hopefully this will further encourage students who are struggling with similar issues and encourage them to not be nervous to speak up and get help. On the last day of Mental Health Awareness Week, there will be a mental health fair. So for the second half of the school day, there'll be a bunch of different stations set up, and the students will be able to go and reach all of them. And this is mainly to see and educate them about healthy coping mechanisms they can use if they're struggling with anything. So it can include like yoga, meditation, journaling, mindfulness, exercise, even therapy dogs, so stuff like that. And it just implements healthy ways to cope with symptoms of stress, depression, and anxiety. And along with that, while these students are attending the fair, there'll be a professional development workshop for faculty and administration, and this will outline kind of the warning signs of mental health disorders in teens and how to handle confronting a student if a faculty member thinks that they're struggling, and also in addition to that, some healthy coping mechanisms for teachers themselves. And training adults in the school will facilitate a large support system and advocate for those students who are mentally struggling. And to evaluate this plan, there will be an appointed mental health committee made up of faculty, administration, students, and parents. And besides the goal of planning the Mental Health Awareness Week, they'll meet once a month and discuss the current mental health issues going on throughout the school and whether more presentations and activities need to be implemented throughout the school year so students are supported all the time. And there was another school in Vienna, Virginia called Oakton High School who in 2016 created their own week dedicated to mental health, and they established a leadership committee constructed of students and faculty to educate their students on mental health topics and just bring overall awareness for mental health through their school. In addition to the committee, there will be a student and faculty anonymous survey sent out before and after the Mental Health Awareness Week, and some of the questions may be include but are not limited to: do you think mental health affects you? Can you list 3 healthy coping mechanisms? Can you rate your current stress level on a scale of 1 to 10? And can you list current mental health resources available in your school? So these questions are mainly to kind of get students thinking about how mental health can affect them, how much they know about mental health, and then hopefully at the end of the week, a success would mean that the second surveys would portray a larger understanding and education of the topics that the activities go over. And to conclude, teenagers' lives revolve around high school, and for those 4 years, they're spending most of their time physically in the school environment, and when they're outside of the school environment, they're still followed by the atmosphere of high school. So with their main environment being high school, it's important for schools to instate some type of support because their students are, that is where they spend most of their time. And by implementing a Mental Health Awareness Week, it will just highlight the importance of mental health without doing too much where the students start to take it for granted. And it will give the school an opportunity to generate support for its students and faculty from anything besides just listing web links on their website. and it'll promote important topics in mental health and certain mental health disorders that may not be talked about a lot in school, and encourage students to speak up if they are struggling mentally, and hopefully encourage them to reach out to their peers or adults in the school. And finally, educate teachers to look out for their students and address any perceived or diagnosed mental illness that they see. So overall, as the amount of students with mental health disorders continues to increase, it is imperative for schools to address the situation and offer necessary resources. And hopefully, Menlo Park High School will not be the first to implement a mental health week similar to Oakton High School, and hopefully many other districts will follow in their footsteps to hopefully combat the ongoing mental health crisis currently in students. Thank you.